Hello my friends, thank you for being here. Few things excite me more than a full face palette, and look what Natasha Denona put out. A nice little compact palette that's got some bronzer and some blush and some eyeshadows, and when I saw this was coming out, my ears went boing, and then it happened to come in PR and I was like, yeah! So I've had a lot of fun playing with this over the last couple of days, and I thought it would be appropriate to do a video on it today. So my face is partially done. Yeah, I guess I'll outline what I am wearing today. I love this foundation. I've had it on hand for a while, but I'm like really getting back into it. It's my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Foundation. She's got like some great face formulas, different kinds of products. Like I like the tinted moisturizer, like the stuff in the little like balm pan thing, but this is awesome. Also, I like that you squeeze it here, like that's cool. Shade is N9 and it's perfect for me, and it's full coverage, but it's hydrating. It looks real. I just like it. So I'm wearing that. I busted out my Mario concealer. I wear this Surreal Skin Awakening concealer in the shade 160, and that did a fabulous job. I set my under eye with my One Size translucent powder and my T-zone as well. And then I just did my brows. That's my Benefit Precisely My Brow set with NYX Control Freak. I got a little lip balm on, and that's all that's on my face right now because we do have the bronzer, we do have the blush, and then we've got eyeshadows as well. So let's talk about this little palette specifically. It came in this nice little box, and then this is the info right here. I just thought it was Hyper Natural Face Palette. Oh, it looks like Hyper, but it's like IIYPER. Okay, we're gonna call it the Hyper Natural Face Palette. It says sealing the perfect no makeup routine in an everyday eye and cheek essential. It says all formulas in this hybrid face palette are mistake proof, support the skin's ability to maintain its natural hydration, and allow for quick and easy finger or brush application. They're talking about this high-tech HY Tech creamy powder formula in the bronzer and the blush that delivers a natural matte finish. There's separate colors that you can like blend together or use separately. And then they're talking about this new talc-free eyeshadow formula. It has a luxurious silky gel powder texture, perfect for quick finger or brush applications to create simple mono looks or layered for a casual glam. And I was looking through also online, they give even more inspo on like the different eye looks. Here I feel like they chose several really natural looks to pop on here, but there is some intensity available in these eyeshadow shades. Packaging wise, as always with Natasha Denona palettes, very solid, very like you would have a hard time trying to break this. Color is almost like a beige pearl type of thing going. There's some reflectivity in the lid. It does have a magnetic closure, and then you do have that mirror in there, which is absolutely golden for the kind of palette this is. It always kind of ticks me off when something is put out to be so convenient, so multitasking, and then you don't have the mirror. So the mirror is key. I'm going to take like my usual bronzing contour brush, and I'm gonna like just dab across all these shades. And another thing about this is this can easily be an eyeshadow setup here too. But I'm just gonna take those, and immediately, you know, I can see my skin tone warming up a bit. It's really cool because you put your brush into this and there is absolutely no powder kick up, but yet they do have pigment. So it's cool. Advanced textures, yes, I would agree. And you can just kind of veer toward one end or the other just depending on what you want more of. Like if I'm thinking, okay, I'm going around my hairline, I want things to look a bit more sunny and whatever, I'm gonna go over toward the deeper end mostly. And then I can see those shades up there right on my hairline, but I'm fascinated by the lack of powdery kick up. And is this the only multitasking palette in the game? No. You can look to Milani. They've got some neat little full face palettes that give you a bronzer and a cheek and a highlight and eyeshadows as well. I wish they'd put them out in an expanded like shade variety, but if you've still got your Emily Edit the Needs palette, then you have some multitasking there too. I'm gonna go again, just all the shades, just to show you what you get for a gentle contour there. And it's easy. It really is. I kind of stress in the write-up about it being foolproof. And I think part of that is the fact that there's no excess to contend with here. There's no like, oh, do I tap off my brush? Is it going to be too much when I just dab my brush in like I logically think I should? No, it just ends up being right. You just kind of choose what your intensity is that you want based on what end of the spectrum you're on. Okay, I want to go a little lighter maybe. I want to blend upward. Fine. And I also feel like these formulas seem to adhere to the skin well also. So we've got that nice matte, easy, gentle contour happening. And again, those could be eyeshadows too. And then let's go into the blush and let's separate these out so you can see exactly what you get if you go one at a time. So I'm taking my blush brush in. I went into the lighter of the two. Both are matte. And you'll start to see this nice little like fresh pink baby's blush kind of thing happening if you just use that one lightest color. I just want you to see that it can show. But I kind of like to use it as sort of an adjuster on the brighter shade, meaning a little bit of this on more of that, and then you kind of have a balanced out shade. But now we go to the deeper one, you can see it on your brush. It's looking like kind of a reddish rosy shade. And maybe we take this back here a little bit, do a little gentle buff. Blend it up toward the lighter shade that's more on the apple of my cheek. That's great. Or, you know, just fully swirl the two shades together if you want to. It's your call. If you're gonna have a compact palette, I think this split pan idea is a brilliant idea to let people get more honed in on the exact shade they want. I just think it's a great idea. Build, go back and forth. If you dabbed back and forth between the two, you would have a really nice, medium, I don't know, it kind of feels like a carnation pink. Fresh, workable. I love that this shade's in here because that can go intense. And then I don't even feel like I'm gonna add a highlighter today. I think I'm gonna just do a little setting spray. I'm so into my CoverGirl Priming Glow Mist. I like the smell, I like the way it mists, I like the way it just kind of takes the surface of the skin and any powderiness, it takes it down a notch. Although I do not feel like these powders look powdery. Like we said, where would that look even come from? There's no excess. There's nothing like tapping off the brush. It's just the color is there. It goes product to brush to skin. Now, when I first saw pictures of this palette and I saw that they're calling it like the Hyper Real Face palette or whatever, and I looked at the shades down here, I thought, really, you know, those feel like they're really reaching for something kind of glamorous. I want you to see the colors up close. There's definite like glam potential, I feel like, in with these shades. This one is really nice, this one called Everyday. It's this really pretty like dirty bronze, and it was so pretty the other day, like on the lid, into the crease, one shadow look vibes. I really like that. This one called Soft right over here, this is actually really brightening. It wants to be a little pinky. It could maybe even be a pretty highlight on the skin. These two together make like, I think, that easy, everyday, effortless, could apply it with your fingers type of look that they're talking about. Then we've got Dreamy here, and Dreamy actually has like some microfine sparkle. When you apply this shade, it can look borderline wet. So sometimes those shades look pretty effortless too, I guess, because it's sort of mimicking like the texture of your skin is just naturally dewy and glossy. So if you want to play with layering that shade up over other shades, or even just a wash of it on its own, I can see that working that way, or maybe build it up in a pretty opaque way and it could look a bit more glam. And then you got two different colors to kind of root things, pull things in a little bit. This one called Statement. It's interesting because you look at it, as I showed this up close, did you think that was a shimmer? Because just the way the surfaces of these shadows are textured, you might think that. It looks that way, but then you kind of swatch it out and you're like, well, maybe it's a soft satin. It's really, really smooth, but it has some richness, but yet you couldn't call it a pure matte. However, it also doesn't look quite as shimmery as it appears in the pan. And then Casual over here, here's our little cool number. This is looking like kind of a taupey gray over here. In the pan, I feel like the way it's textured, you might think, oh, so many shimmers. Well, in this smoothed out swatch here, I'm seeing some sheen, but it's not wildly metallic, okay? So just know that about those two deeper shades. This one and this one, they've got just like a subtle satin finish. These two, I think, appear to have some shimmer, and they do have shimmer, and this one's got sparkle. And then if you want, all in all, things to be a little more matte and like really, really muted, just go up here and start using the bronzers in your crease. You've got literally like 3 more eyeshadows sitting there, and if you wanted to take it a pink route, you've got the blush. So I'm gonna set this up with a little Milani eyeshadow primer. I just really find that the things I appreciate most in makeup are when I feel like a product was really thoughtfully done. Even if maybe the shade selections weren't exactly what I would have done if I was the one picking or whatever. I really appreciate when stuff feels really well thought out. Like this wasn't just rushed into existence. Somebody really thought, what would be the best way to do this? And I just really like this palette for that. The concept of doing split pans for the face stuff is, I think, just super brilliant. And I think the space was used really well. They made it literally like as compact as possible, but you don't feel like they're skimping on the amount of product that's in here. I mean, it's 5 eyeshadows and it's essentially like 5 different colors for face. But yeah, I like that. So anyways, I'm going to show you a quick look and then maybe a way to make it a slight bit more dramatic. So this color called Everyday, I think is just very easy to jump into. I'm just taking my crease brush with that. And again, I've just applied some eye primer. And this is this really pretty, could be a full-on one shadow look type of shade. I like it in my crease and above because we're trying to always, you know, create that little bit of lift. If we only put shadow in the crease line, it's not making much sense. We want the look of lift. And as this shears out, it just looks so like gently toasty and natural. Really easy to navigate and manage. I'm putting my brush in. I am not tapping off excess, okay? It's just not creating it for me. You just don't have that. Hi, kitten. I love you. How are you today? Again, guys, it's just crease and above. That's all I'm doing with it right now. And then what if we experiment with their thought of just swipe it on with a finger? Because I think they're wanting it to be just extremely approachable, extremely easy. So let's just take that same shade every day, dabbing it over the lid. And then you can see that sheen come off of it a little bit more because we're pressing it on instead of shearing it out with a crease brush. Okay, I've got a cat needing now out of a room. Okay, the shadow is called Everyday. That's the only shade I have on. It's giving us this little kind of dirty bronze gleam on the eyelid. It's giving us a little bit of lift and just like something's going on here on the outside. And then to finish off like this, I think, supernatural look, I would take this color called Soft. It has kind of a pinky sort of thing, but it's really soft about it. Hence the name. And I would just like maybe dab that on my lid for a little more shine and like pop, because it really looks pretty behind the lashes. Once you get your mascara on and you kind of see that sheen from this color, I like that a lot. So you have that soft, easy, effortless. I'm not saying I'm a model or anything, but I'm just saying I'm mimicking the kind of like sort of glowy lid, easy look that they've got. But then maybe we're going day to night. We want to take this color called Statement, or you could go to this one, but let's do this one here in the middle. So it looks kind of brownish. In the palette, it looks like maybe, is that a shimmery shade? Not really. It's a brown with a subtle satin finish. And we could just tap that on the outer part of the lid. Again, fallout risk with these is like 0. They just go where you tap them, okay? You could probably even do this with your finger. But I'm just patting that on my outer lid, both sides. And then I'll just come in with my like Profusion small pointed brush and work it up just a little bit for some more lift. And that'll be that. Easy. We've placed it on the outside. Now we're going back for that shade, but with my small pointed brush, and now we're going directly into crease, and we're just going to work that up a little and just show you how this look can become a little more intense. Because let's face it, this is not a cheap palette, and I want you to be aware of the fact that it's not just like, oh, barely they're natural. Like, this could be a special occasion. I mean, look what we just did there. We just shaped it. We can bring in a brush and blend it out more at the edges, but like very, very easily just tapped into this shade, hit that actual depth of the crease now, and just work it up in small circular motions in the direction of the tip of the brow. Imaginary line, not dropping below. And since we're working with these like primarily satiny finish shades, there's a nice like kind of gentle natural finish to the eyes, you know? Like, I love a good matte eye, but I gotta give this eye credit. Like, nothing looks flat. There's a freshness, I guess I would say, that the finish of these shades have. If you feel like that needs to be more blended, then grab any like bare brush you have, work around just the outer edge if you want to. Boom. If you feel like, gosh, I want more spotlight on the lid, we could take a little twinkle if you want. Again, what this does is makes it look a bit on the glossy side. It gives a wet look without making it literally be wet. So I'm tapping on, I'm like having an application finger, an application finger and then a dab around it finger. Application finger, dab around it finger. Just spotlighting right there at the center. And then we don't want that one shade to feel left out, right? This could easily operate in the outer corner just like I did with my most intense color there if you want to. If you want it to be maybe a smidge less dark or just a little different tone. It's cooler, it's got more gray in it. But I could take a little bit of that with my small pointed and we could just create a little lower liner with it. Again, our fallout risk here with these shades just is non-existent. It's going from the product to the brush to the skin and not messing around. So I like that. So there, I would call that a day on this eyeshadow look, basically proving to you that it's more than just some little natural barely there. I think it can be kind of a fancy and special look as well. So I will finish things off with a little mascara, we'll find a lip, and yeah, I'll be right back. Here's the finished look on the eyes. I did not do anything but mascara on here. So I just used my Neutrogena Healthy Lengths there on the upper lashes, a little bit of Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water on the lower lashes. Oh, also my little trick, just because I trust nothing on the lower lash line, and you know I put a little bit of shadow down there. I take, where's my little brush I use? I just take this chunky little, like, it was an eyeshadow brush, but it's too big for that. I use a little bit of Kosas Cloud Set always directly under any lower eyeshadow that I do. And it's like a preventative measure, and I think it keeps it from fading down or seeping down, smudging below the eye. But anyway, that's the eye look. And then for lips, I used this Revlon Color Stay Lip Liner in Mauve and my Hard Candy Lip Melt in the shade Forever Ever. So it's one of those that kind of like clicks up, kind of the way Tartes are, but this is cut a little bit bigger. So that's giving me that sort of pinky berry shade. Oh, and I just popped on a smidge more blush from the palette. So my overall takeaway here, and if you can see like what's going on the lids, as I was doing my mascara and was seeing everything up close, I was like, that is so pretty. Such a works for anything tone happening here among this shade and this shade and this shade. You know, everything in there could really like pair with any outfit, pair with any other facial color scheme that you've got going on, I feel. I just feel like it was thoughtfully done and I enjoy it. And I know it's not cheap, but the quality is really, really good. I think it's nice to be able to go into these products, not be concerned with fallout, just be concerned with, I go into a product, it should show on my skin. It does show on my skin, true to color. Like the little write-up said, I think these are versatile enough to be able to be used with your finger, especially this mid-tone called Everyday or any of the lighter shades. Very easy to just like swipe it on and then maybe grab a brush for one of your deeper colors if you're trying to work it up or build it up into more of an outer V the way I did. But like, I've got a great lift going here with this eye look. If I'm from a distance, like I've got what I want going on. And again, when I first laid eyes on the palette and I saw they're calling it Hyper Natural or whatever, I thought, oh, with those eyeshadow shades, that doesn't seem all that natural. But yeah, they can each kind of do their own thing and look really soft and easy, or they can be built into a look that is more glam. And again, the smart choices here with doing multiple shades right in the same like pan of product so a person can veer more toward one side or the other of the intensity of the bronzer and the blush. I do love multitasking palettes generally speaking, but I don't love everything. Nothing's getting a free pass here. You know, I'm testing it it, and if I don't like it, I'd tell you, but I really do like this. I know Natasha Denona has done some other like eye and cheek palettes, things that had like maybe a blush, a highlighter, and some eyeshadows, but I think this is by far her best multitasking thing that she's done yet. This was the other one. She did the Glam Face palette, and this was nice. You know, this is the deeper one, and I liked the color tones, and you had a blush and a highlight here, but I feel with the way they did the face things and the choices on the eyes, there's definitely more versatility here. You've got a long spectrum from very natural to much more glam, possibly, with this palette. I am into it. I can tell you for a fact, if I hadn't been sent it in PR, I would have bought it with my own money and ultimately would have brought you this review regardless. So thank you for your time, everyone. Let me know your take if you've tried it out or if you're thinking about it, and I will see you all again very soon. I love you. Bye.